you have to make it safe for us to be able to be honest with y'all too. Because we can't be honest with y'all, and then every chance you get, you toss it at us like, nigga, that's why your wife 6 years ago fucking fought with you over the house. Like, bro, that was real. Like, you gonna go through that shit one day too, my nigga. So y'all, so, so you have to make it safe for the fellas on this panels to be honest with y'all in order for a lot of people to be honest. Because if I know that I'm gonna have to, if I know I'm gonna have to eat my words one day and have it tossed back in and have it turned the venom back on me, I can see why a lot of fellas are less likely to talk to y'all ass too about that type of shit.
So if you worry about that
space overall, creating a safe space overall.
Yeah.
Well, look,
so,
Sweetie, if you worry about that, don't share.
No,
You might as well forget it. Don't do it. If that's your concern, that's your worry, don't do it.
I think that's most people fear when it comes to being on these spaces.
Look, I talk about my shit on a regular basis. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a damn what you say about me, but I don't care. And I understand the chat go. I had people come up. Hey, you cheat on your wife? You ain't okay. You right. That's it.
I don't care.
I made a selfish ass decision in doing that. You are damn right. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'm past it now. I done moved on. I'm not worried about what people say. So if that's the mindset you'll never share anything. You'll never be vulnerable. You're never gonna open up. You're barely gonna open up your mouth because you're worried about what the chat gonna say. Now, if the men up here give you a safe place and not gonna look at you crazy, judge you, accept that for what it is. But I wouldn't worry about the chat.
I think that's farther easier. I think that's easier said than done.
So I talk about
your shit and make you go viral every single day, and sometimes some people's lives don't want that kind of smoke on their lives.
You will never get any truth out of anybody. Then, if that's the case, if you're worried about that, you will never get nobody's truth. Everybody's story gonna be a goddamn lie.
That's what we see today. That's literally 90% of the 99% of the internet right now.
So you talk about we got to be honest and upfront and talk about how we make marriage sound bad. Okay, we got to talk about the goods and bad. Remember, I did that show with y'all. You Trev was up there talk about marriage, and I asked a question. I said, you don't have to share if you don't want to, but tell us some of the downsides to us and tell us some of the challenge. You know what I'm talking about, Sweeney? You remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had yeah.
You have to be vulnerable. You have to be. Look, if we're gonna sit there and just hide it, people will never take a chance are willing to step out. Because if that's all they think, and then all of a sudden they get to the situation where, damn man, they didn't talk about this shit. They didn't talk about when what we were supposed to do when we are in financial strain, or when we strapped for cash, when times are hard. I lost my job, and I'm in between jobs, but she's still working, but she look at me crazy. While I'm in between jobs, I'm sitting on the couch playing video games all goddamn day. Look at me like I'm a goddamn failure. Nobody never say that about that. But guess what? That's all part of it. Look at when you get married, you have to put your hard hat on. You got to go in there with your goddamn lunch pail. It's nothing easy. Nothing about marriage is easy.
Yeah.
Every day you fight. You fight to make your relationship work.
Look, I talked about how I got to this point in life. And that was Stu having an amazing woman, and I just wouldn't stop cheating on her. I got caught cheating so many times, it was ridiculous. And she ended up leaving my ass. And I took a year off to work on myself and figure some things out so I could have a similar positive relationship without me doing the bullshit. And that's how I got to the point. So when I be speaking, I'm coming from, this is how I fix this the solution. Maybe I would have to start at the beginning of an old relationship to get to how I created a foundation for a new relationship. But I'll be up here. My wife pissed me off, man. I fought with her all day today. She was doing stuff to me that bothered me. Is that what you know what I'm saying? I don't like she I don't know. She was doing something that was really bothering me. Would that make it okay to talk about the good then if I start off saying some bullshit?
No, see, I think it's important for us to definitely be as transparent as we can. we just have to understand that you can't care, like Hank said. You really can't, because you're going to get all types of things. And I've definitely talked about certain things. A lot of people know in my past I was a straight up scumbag, right? That's just what it was, and I don't give a damn what people think about it, right?
I don't care.
I mean, I'm 16 years in my marriage,
Signal's
so
bad. I'm using my phone. My
there's
Wi-Fi
at
don't
this
work.
point there's a lot more good than there is bad, right? We've learned each other, and that shit was hard. Marriage is hard as hell. Like, people got to understand it. You're trying to live with the same person, sleep in the same bed with the same person for the rest of your life, and that's the goal, right? You have to bring two different things. Like, when we were coming together, like, just us getting an apartment together at first, that shit tore me up, man, because you don't have that privacy that you had before. You can't move how you used to move before. You got to get used to things. You got to used to habits. You start finding out shit about them that you don't know, that you don't like, right? And that is what that is. It's part of it. It's part of the growth. But once you realize that you have the same goals in life, once you realize that it's the same, what your end game is her end game, and she cares about legacy as much as you do, cares about family as much as you do, and your beliefs are aligned, then it gets easier. You don't even, it's something that you don't even have to think about working at, because there's always going to be things, any type of relationship that you have, whether it be a business relationship, whether it be your homies, it's going to be certain things that they do that annoy you, that piss you off. But it doesn't mean you're going to say to hell with them, I need to leave. You know, like, we don't divorce from that relationship. So, if you feel like marriage is a permanent thing, which most of us, I know I do, and I can't speak for nobody else, but the idea is to get divorced. Divorce shouldn't even be part of it. I understand if you're miserable and a person's making you miserable, you can't function properly, but the idea is not to ever divorce. It's to nourish, carry a relationship. So I certainly agree that we have to talk about some of the things, but and we understand it's hard. And I make sure I keep it up as long as I can. That's my situation. This is what I've been through, and it's hard to deal with sometimes, right? But because I already know what type of life I had before this, right? But and you may not like it, some might judge for it, but it is what it is. I feel it's important to know, because I don't like you were saying, you don't want people to just pop out of nowhere. Like, okay, how'd that happen? How'd you get here? People have to understand the process, and I do my best to explain what that process is, and it's hard. It's a hard process trying to get used to certain individuals. It's not like you just gonna have everything work right away. You have to work at it, and it's constant. It's a constant work all the time, right? It gets easier, but it takes constant work because people become bored, right? People become frustrated. And it's easy when you just dealing with somebody and they're your girlfriend or whatever. But when you start having to do the not so fun shit, like pay bills, like who's going to babysit, who's about to get up 4 a.m. because the baby's crying, right? When you start going through those things, then you realize if you could work with somebody, if you could live with somebody, you have to understand compromise at that point. So it's not an easy situation, and I don't want anyone to ever think it's easy to be in marriage. It's going to be constant work.